Hey, good morning guys. I'm going to do an update on the ME410, and you can see I've got everything together, or at least the wings on, and the cockpit is installed. You can see that. Okay. I had to take care of a few seams right here on the bottom. Just a little bit of putty and some sanding, also some sanding along the seam lines to smooth them out. The wing roots, just a little bit of a gap, not much. You just usually take my perfect plastic putty, take a little stirring stick and just smooth it on. Wait a minute or two and then just take a wet Q-tip and you can just smooth it right out, and it fills those gaps nicely. Okay. In assembly I had a little bit of course you do have some gaps along here because this sets down on top of each other, so you do got a little bit of gaps there. Nothing too bad. All right. Same on this side, just a little bit of sanding just to smooth it out, just to make sure it lines up correctly. Okay. Also on the cockpit, and if you're gonna build this kit, I'm gonna suggest that there's a couple of pieces in the cockpit that I'm going to leave off to the very end because they get in the way, and when you're masking and everything, and so I would just I'll leave these off, and let's see, find it here. These pieces right here. Not sure what it's called, but and this piece right here, it just, again, they're kind of fiddly and they're going to get in the way of masking, and I like to do the canopy, leave it off and do it and paint it separate. So for me, I'm going to be putting wet paper towels and tape on the cockpit area for masking. So for me, they were on there, and I kept knocking them off when I was turning the plane over and getting things together. Another thing too, I would suggest, if you're going to be working on the kit, I went ahead and glued them on, and so far I've been lucky and haven't knocked them off. But these actuators for this flap here, you might consider leaving those off till the very end again, and just because the way I leave the landing gear off and put everything, the flaps and the landing gear on at the very end. I paint them separate, and that way I don't knock them off. So these pieces right here, I would definitely consider leaving those off. Fortunately, I haven't knocked them off yet. Okay. I'm also going to leave off the go ahead and leave off these side guns until the end. I'll paint them separate because you're going to have to end up painting the gun barrels again. Pardon me. So I'll leave those off to the end and just paint those separate. And let's see what I have. They're still on the sprue. And okay, they're still on the sprue, so I'm going to hit those with primer and then paint the guns that go there. Did a few other things. I painted the props. Okay. And German planes props call for RLM 70, which is a black green, and so Tamiya makes XF27 black green, and so I painted those up. going on, it looked almost too green, but as they dried, they look pretty good. So I'm gonna stick with that. Okay. All right, and also painted up the painted both wheel or tires, and I'll do these separate here. I'll do the wheels part separate, but this is painted in XF 60 NATO black, which is kind of it's kind of a grayish black color. Has a good effect for tires. Okay. And as you'll see from the slideshow, I did paint the figures. And this one only came with 2 figures. I noticed some of the earlier monogram kits, they came with 3. So you got one seated figure and a standing figure. Okay, and this guy will not fit he will not fit unless you cut his legs off. And so because of the photo etch cockpit detail, I'll probably just leave him out, and he can just be hanging out on the side of the plane or something. So, all right. Okay, my next step is I'm gonna just wipe it down real good and get some primer on it and get it ready for painting. So there we go. And also the arduous task of masking, which I hate. My last couple planes were little 172s, and actually, since I use acrylic paints, I just paint the outlines, and just take a toothpick and scrape around them, and they come out pretty good. So, but this is pretty big, so I might give a go at masking. All right. We'll see. All right. Okay, thanks guys, and enjoy the slides, and we'll be back.